I'll take your suggestions. 913-586-7965. What do you want the Chiefs to do at wide receiver? Because I thought about it for a long time last night. And I think we'll ask Nate Taylor at one. As in, if I knew these guys were available, like I know McCole Hardman's available, you could probably trade for a lower-end wide receiver, depending on the roster. The same level as like getting Tank Bigsby, like the Philadelphia Eagles did this week. So a low-end wide receiver might be available off a team. And then something Tyreek Hill might be available. I would like to point out, before we mention his name, he had court filings yesterday for accusations of domestic violence from his previous wife again, who's married to, like, I think a little less than 2 years. Filed in court yesterday, multiple incidents. So that makes him, I would borderline say, untouchable if you are in that situation for all the reasons I mentioned in the early part of the show. But at this point, is it weird to be team stand pat? Like, don't bring in McCole, don't bring anyone. I kind of want to see how the offense looks over the next couple of weeks. I don't think they're going to bury themselves so far deep that they can't make the playoffs. So, like, you know, I'll wait a little bit and see what they got in how quickly Worthy can come back, what they got in Hollywood. I'll play it out, I guess, a little.
I know we've seen some other moves from other teams after 1 week, but a lot of those are depth moves. Like Tank Bigsby will be the number 2 running back, for example, with Saquon Barkley, with Will Shipley being hurt. And I wouldn't have mind Tank Bigsby, by the way, actually. As we've talked about the running backs already.
Yeah.
We thought they should have done more in the offseason. However, it is 1 week. I do not think after 1 week you go and start acting like you got to turn over multiple spots on the roster and, oh, my gosh. No, you went into the season because you believed in these players. One game, you're not bailing on everybody.
If you're in the middle of a four-peat campaign, I might be saying something different.
You don't bail on anybody that quickly. You do also know with the wide receiver room that Rashee Rice will be back at some point. We don't know about Worthy. They know, we don't. Is Worthy out for the year? Is he out for 2 weeks? Is he out for 8 weeks? We don't know the answer. That changes this conversation. I think it's something you revisit, and I'm sure we will, this convo in 3-4 weeks. At that point in time, you're further in. You might have a better feel on what teams and who's available and all that. The trade deadline is not till November, I think, right? They pushed it back.
Yeah.
It's like November. So
and that was around the time they got DeAndre Hopkins
plenty
last
of time
year.
to figure that out. I don't believe they're going to make any move, and there really is a move to make currently. And to be honest with you, I'm more concerned about the defense potentially in 6 weeks. Are we going to be saying they need to go trade for secondary help or pass rush help or something?